And we're ready.
Hey, we will open this meeting of February 13th, 2014. Let the record show all the selectmen are present. I am going to go into non-public as per RSA 91A:3, a personnel matter.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 And we're ready.
Make a motion that we seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to personnel permanently.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
I make a motion that we send a notice of a hearing of a personnel matter to the employee.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Can I go open the door now? We gotta,
We have one more motion to move the
Make a motion, we move the venue.
oh, yeah.
Of the,
non-public session hearing.
To Morris Conference Room.
February 28th at 1 PM.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Yes.
All right. So, Catherine, that needs to be properly noticed as a non-public that day.
I have the notice already.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in your folder.
There you go.
And it's not a meeting, it's a hearing. Good meeting. It's a non-public selectmen's hearing. You can
I used his wording.
use his wording, that's fine.
We paid big money for that, so.
I know, for him to sit there and lie. I'm sitting there twitching going, yeah.
That's what you should have said, hey.
Well, what are we gonna do, not hire? I mean, every lawyer lies to you at one time or another.
Most every time, yeah.
Even though, it's true, it's true.
It's true.
Look at the camera because it is on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's true.
Smack me one.
I think that how I feel about lawyers is well known
No, they do. A lawyer will.
and oftentimes lamented by members of the bar. I hate lawyers. I hate lawyers.
I had an attorney one time have my son sit there and recite, "Please, do me," over and over and over again. It was the most incredulous moment of my life at that time.
Up to that point.
Yeah, up to that point, but I am standing there going, "I can't believe this." I looked at him and I said, "As much as you."
Onward, folks.
And upwards. Who's running this meeting? Oh, there she is.
Can we start with Joyce? Joyce,
Yes.
you're up.
Oh, I'm up.
Did you need,
Ms. Alden,
And then we'll also have
good to see you.
Dari there, so we can introduce.
Yes.
Nano from the north.
Well, hopefully she's coming back, what with the cake and, what have you.
Well, it's just the storm.
The 100 down beaters, you know.
Hey, come on, she's a snowmobiler. This woman lives for snow. She's gonna be here.
Okay.
I think that in the event of the snowstorm out there, that I realize that we have to be open for the bond at 6 o'clock, but I think the selectmen can stand around for that, but the Catherine and Joyce, if you want to head out, they've closed downstairs already.
Okay.
And they're just coming for Gus's little party, all right?
Okay.
Party.
We're going to have the hearing.
That's why I came.
That we're just letting,
What'd you say? You can't hear?
While we're sitting here waiting, I mentioned it to Joyce the other day, the sign that we have at the front entrance needs to come down.
Yeah, it's so out of date.
Almost everything on it, I think only the town clerk section is correct, but everything else is wrong.
Yeah. Did we make a decision? Okay. Number 2?
yep.
Okay.
And,
Oh, I have this. Do you need an extra set? I had printed one out.
Oh, but this is, I put on letterhead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had sent it to the board instead
Yeah.
of you presenting it.
Yeah.
I just tweaked a few things.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do assessing first.
Okay.
Oh, shoot, this one should probably be talked about.
These are cute.
Can we talk about it without using names?
What's that?
Okay. That's a non-public?
Well, I can talk about it without using any names.
Yeah.
There's some elderlies that have been denied.
Okay.
As you know, we're doing our reval. And I don't know, for those of you who had a chance to come in today, what was his last name? Rice? Jonathan Rice. Lauren introduced us to
I
the
met
newest
him.
staff member, and he has a,
She didn't introduce me. I was wondering who that guy was there.
his background is commercial, oh, that's the extra copy. Yeah, commercial appraisals. So he's going to be helping overseeing the reval. One of the things that Lauren had prepared and suggested, and I agreed with her, I mean, I've gotten these when I've been in Northfield, and also we own property in Maine, and we got a letter in Maine when they were doing revals, which is just a little update, what a reval is, who to call, and then Lauren had prepared these frequently asked questions.
Right.
I know it costs a little bit for postage, but I really suggest that we do a mailing just to let them know, because not everybody has a website, not everybody lives in town or reads the local newspapers. And
Right.
this will have a tremendous impact. And also, I think it will lessen the number of phone calls that we get, and when it comes time to have hearings on the fee values.
May I ask a question? I don't understand. Is it our doing, or is it the RSA's doing that they have to serve during a qualifying wartime?
Or say,
That's it, yeah.
Find the, with the
it's very specific.
I really think that that needs to be changed. A veteran is a veteran, no matter how you look at it. I mean,
what I'm
they
thinking.
they need the personnel on one end to be successful on the other.
Facts.
You've had people
That's
come
a
in
fact.
that have missed it by that much.
It's unconscionable.
That much. Yeah, it is. I
Sorry, it's
agree.
unconscionable, and I think
legislative.
that we should talk, and Catherine, put this on your notes, we should talk to our legislative body for that and have it changed, because I think it's unconscionable. A veteran is a veteran, and it should not be just during a wartime.
Right.
They take them in to go to war.
Yeah.
And they didn't go to war, well, that's not really their fault.
Right.
They're still a veteran. They're willing to serve your country.
That's exactly right.
That's how I feel.
That's the way I feel,
They're willing
too.
to serve your country, you know what?
Veteran's a veteran.
They don't
A
get
veteran is a veteran, and this gentleman doesn't qualify because he wasn't during wartime.
We go.
Come on.
Pass those down.
If you served, you served.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And when you
That's what
sign
the
up,
RSA says right
you,
now.
You get ready to go.
I'm going. I mean, seriously, the Governor Hassan is very conscientious about our veterans, and she supports them wholeheartedly. Well, then the laws need to change, period. Just saying.
I'm not putting my signature on that piece of paper. I'm not. That's wrong. I can sign for something I don't believe in.
Oh, we don't have any choice unless they change the law.
Change the law.
Okay,
Sorry.
That's two of them.
Yeah. Change the law.
disgusting.
Change the law.
Well, I agree with you, Joyce. I think it's a good idea. Because it seems like every year you always get the same people calling with the same questions. You know, why are they here? They were just here last year. What are they doing?
You know, you read this one's decorations, badges, and you gotta shake your head and go, are you kidding? Yeah, he did all this.
Disgust me.
It is.
Why is my assessment different? I didn't do anything to my house.
Whoa.
Tell me there's no Purple Heart in there. Please tell me there's not.
No, there isn't, but
Were there a Purple Heart, he'd
But they
have to be
pretty
in
well-
wartime somewhere.
yeah.
That's how you get
Yeah.
Purple Hearts.
Well, they just.
But you go through this, and it's just one after the other, of ribbons and badges
To
and
include it with the letter that was,
accomplishments. So it's not like he just sat there and,
you know, why did my
Peel
battery
potatoes.
take? I didn't do anything to my house.
I gave you this February 18th because I won't get it mailed until the 18th.
Okay.
The other thing, Lauren gave me the list of all the elderlies, because every update, you have to review all the elderlies.
Okay.
They get
it's really
upset,
wrong.
but your office is gonna mail a letter with the information saying that because it's the law, you have to update your values. And Catherine, you'll have a copy of the list that the letter was mailed to, because we're gonna get a lot of calls from people upset. Why are you taking it away?
Right.
No, this is just, we have to do this by law.
Right.
Our veterans, we looked at those are all up to date, we update those annually.
Yep.
So veterans are fine, and then current use, we still have some from the last reval, not that many, maybe about that thick, of current use properties that they never bothered to comply, to provide a map and an updated
Oh, really?
forestry management plan. So we'll be, at her next visit, we'll do those. But those are all requirements of the update.
Because I know when we went into current use, they said, well, it won't be approved unless you bring all the information, so.
Right, so if we, this round, if we don't, we'll come to the selectmen and we're going to take it off.
Yep.
If you read this letter, I brought my computer, it's up
Yep.
on my screen if you want to make any changes.
Who wrote this letter for the valuation update?
Lauren did.
Taxes are based on the combined budgets of the town of Tilton, Tilton Northfield Fire District, Winnisquam Regional School District, and Belknap County.
Yeah, I put that in.
What about the state school tax?
Well, I thought about that, and I thought that would just get too confusing.
But it's a calculation.
Yeah.
Then I just put school tax.
It's all combined into one.
It needs to say state school tax,
Yeah.
because they'll look at when, they'll see school tax and say, wait a minute, we get taxed twice for the school district?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is all part of it.
And, do we really have to tell them that many of you will see your property values decrease or stay the same? I mean, do you know how many people are gonna call up and say,
Mine didn't. I went up. Why?
because the last sentence pretty much says it?
What with values decreasing, the tax rate will likely increase to offset the overall loss in value.
No, it is important to know that just because values decreases does not mean that your taxes will decrease. That's a very important statement.
Yes.
Oh, all right, so leave that in, but take out,
After the comma.
they say, with the real estate market declining over the past few years, many of you will see your property values change.
Yeah, change, period.
And what if they don't?
Well, usually you tell people they either increase, your values either increase, decrease, or stay the same.
Well, then put that in there. Many of you will see your,
But it doesn't make sense
No,
with
it
the
doesn't.
real estate market declining over the past few years.
yes,
Take out the whole sentence.
yeah.
We don't care about that.
Okay?
It is important to note, just because, what she went on to say, because values decrease, it does not mean your taxes will decrease.
Yeah, that's a great sentence.
Yeah.
Just take out the other one.
Yeah,
Okay, so for property tax year 2014, all property values were updated to market value as of April 1st, 2014, period.
right,
It is important to note that just because values have decreased, values decrease, this does
Right.
not mean that your taxes will decrease.
correct.
Okay, so we, and add state school tax.
Yep. As I know, when I worked here, people would come in with this letter. What are they gonna do to me? It's like, well, it's time for the revaluation.
This one will be confusing, but I don't
Yeah.
see how to change it. It says, as part of the update process, you receive a notice in the mail of the new value. Or whether it stays the same, increases or decreases, it's new
Yeah.
to this
Yep.
process, this valuation.
Yep.
That people are gonna,
Say, what do you mean, new value? You mean you're gonna make it go up?
Okay, of the 2014 value,
ooh,
Yes,
that's the tax
that's
year.
good.
that's good, yeah. That lets them know, okay, it's 2014, we're gonna
That's
send
good.
you a new notice.
That's very good.
When does our new employee start?
He started
Today.
Okay. The horse is out of the barn on that one, I guess, right?
Good.
The horse is out of the barn on that one. We're signing the paperwork to hire him, and he actually started today.
Well, we
Okay.
had your vote from the,
I know we did. I know we did.
And you're suggesting to put in frequently asked questions with this mailing?
yeah, she had suggested that, and I said, yep, that'd be good. So it will be, let's see, it'll be 2 pages. So it'll be this will be the back, and then, so only two sheets will be mailed.
Do you think anybody will know what a measure is?
Where do you see that?
First, and it's Town of Tilton is contracted with Avatar Associates to complete a measure and list project over, something's missing.
They call them measure and lists. They measure your property.
To
they measure
complete
the
a measure
dimensions.
and list project. People won't know what that is.
The woman of the hour.
There's Houghton Road. Terrible. To complete a visual inspection of your property and record the data. Okay, to complete a visual inspection, measurement, and measurement of your property
I think Joe has a question.
to make
It's on something different, right?
sure the data is listed correctly on your property assessment record card.
Perfect, Joyce.
All right, Joe?
This here is something for Corporal Ashburn. Am I to assume that he's been back at work for 3
Yeah.
days already?
Yeah.
Horse is out of the barn on this one, too.
Well, the horse is getting loose, Joe.
Well, welcome back. I'm looking forward to meeting this guy. I've never met Corporal Ashburn.
He's a nice fellow.
He's a nice guy.
Excellent.
I didn't,
He goes, yes, ma'am. Yes,
I did
ma'am."
not know Joe. I know he was back, but not officially back working
I didn't know he was working.
tonight.
He's coming?
No,
Oh. I'd love to meet him. Have him stop by sometime, Chief.
About changing a
What's his function
non-assessment
gonna be?
update year or non-reval.
He's a supervisor.
Supervisor.
year. They won't know what a
Did they
non,
have to go through a...
Nope, they're not going to.
He does, and that's why this week was kind of administrative. You gotta go to range, you
A human collects the data, then a human has to enter it into the computer.
gotta catch
I've
up.
never met him. I've been selecting
Humans
for
make
years.
errors.
Been
I
going
love
on.
that.
Yeah.
He's gotta catch up on all the training.
Well, good.
Think they'll know what a non-distressed sale is? Or we're being too particular?
well, she's defining it, a distressed sale is such as foreclosures, bank sales, short sales, etc. I'll put arm's length in parentheses.
Yeah. Her intelligence is making my head hurt. I'm reading these twice. Oh my God.
did you change the letter itself, or are you just changing the descriptions?
Changed a couple of things in letters.
You see it?
There was an omission.
Well, we have our new 2013 assessed, our new 2013 assessment ratio. It's 107.7.
That's what I'm saying.
But I guess we don't want to go there, we just keep hers.
We need to take,
Oh, and then she's got, remember, a measure and list. Oh, we already defined it, so we'll just,
Yeah, you've got it up there, so.
You get that?
This is really good. This is very good. I like this.
I think it might be still snowing
On the
out.
website, and you can post it.
I like that.
So if I put this up, then at your leisure, you can come in tomorrow. I mean, if I can do it tonight.
Yep,
Do you want me to keep going, or do you want
keep going. This is- look at minutes.
this information that I'm giving you is for an elderly exemption that was denied, but the assessor said that she would bring this to the board's attention. She said, I'll be happy to bring it to the board's attention
Yes.
if you would like. But I believe you've already denied it. Did those go around?
Yes. Well, the ones we had were just
Veteran.
veterans. We just did
Oh, there were
two.
2 veterans, it wasn't an elderly?
Right.
They're in the to be signed right there. No. Why is there choices?
What's the, is it a big gap?
No, they're the same thing. They're all the same to us.
Great, is that
She talked to me a little bit about it. Yeah.
Which one is real?
Right. And apparently, he is going to be not working. But,
Oh, we know this.
yes.
Okay.
But that one, what the problem is he, like she tried to tell him, he can,
Can we keep the noise, we're still in session here, so.
he can ask for a deferment for 13 and 14.
Yep.
And then at the end of, or in the beginning of 15, then he can apply again for an elderly exemption, because his income will have changed, but you have to wait for a year after before
Okay.
you can apply again.
We're familiar with this,
Yeah.
reader note there.
Catherine, you do-
No, I didn't. But thank you for pointing that out.
What is it?
There's one document in that thing I probably wouldn't sign. Even though I know we don't have a choice.
So on this one, I had spelled his name.
There's always a choice, Catherine.
I
took that option.
Sometimes they're not good choices, but
Took my choice.
Hi, Bob.
howdy. Hey, Bob. Flagger School. I see we're training the new guy.
Is this the person that was in before?
Yes, yes.
The
Is it
old new
person I'm
guy.
thinking of? Okay.
See, I put a note there. Did you see my note?
The one with the asterisk?
After I, no,
About, it says it's required?
yes.
Yeah.
But what it is, because that was, that note, that whole thing, I didn't know what it was. I had to find out what school it was.
Flagger School?
Well, I thought it was a detail.
Oh.
Usually it's, flagger is a detail,
Uh-huh.
and it's not a detail, it's a class.
Oh,
It's a safety class.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we're training the new guy.
While we're reading that, Pat, I just want to let you know that the 3 attachments that I needed the CDBG grant for you to sign, I have. One is a certificate of insurance, the other is a certificate of grantees attorney Scott Guffin, saying that in his opinion, the grantees empowered to enter into the foregoing. And I also had Cindy do a certificate of the vote of the board to apply.
yep.
The Quins?
Yes, yep. So, and the board had already voted to have you sign.
Yeah, so they yell at you if anything goes wrong.
So you're ready to go. And it's number 1.2, and you should initial each page with the date. And I still haven't gotten the contract back from the Veterans Home and Government Council yet on the snow agreement, but said anything.
Maybe we need to call him again.
Hope they don't say, move it.
Say,
Don't be saying that
Every
now.
page we have to initial?
either that or just, well, prove which snow's mine.
Just a reminder that next Thursday, February 20th at 5 o'clock, we have our poll petition permit hearing, Jane, 5 o'clock. I know you'll be here for that. And also at 6:30, we're doing the spice ordinance public input.
Yes.
And I notified Nate, and so he's notified his people, and I'm notifying
Okay.
everybody.
You notify, our people will notify their people. How that works.
And Catherine, so you, did the board say I can go ahead and have the highway guys remove that sign?
No, I just mentioned it to them so they could be thinking about it. And that way, if anybody,
I make a
And
motion that we
this,
remove the sign out front
What
and make
sign?
it, the
Oh, the
corrections
sign,
on it.
oh, what, yeah,
Yes.
second.
well, should we wait to make the corrections until town meeting?
We can take it down.
We should take it down.
We'll take it down and
Yeah.
then...
Take it down.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion.
This is just to take down the sign, regardless of what it said initially, right? All right, all right.
We'll update it accordingly. Well, that's not what the motion said, though.
Technically, it wasn't.
Make a motion that we just take down the sign.
So you amend your
Second.
motion. All
I
right,
amend my second.
Are
okay.
you all following along at home?
Okay, the motion was to take the sign down. All those in favor of the motion?
Me,
Yes.
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 Yes, yes.
Okay,
There's one signature,
yep, just you, they voted that you could do that, because they were...
but that's on one piece of paper, right? And then initials?
And then the other item that was passed around, did the board want to just acknowledge that you received that? Joe,
Oh. And-
So-
And how do we acknowledge that how do we do that? Send them a note?
yeah, I think we should get back to him and let him know.
Just make a phone call?
Probably just call him. Well, no, if it's been, did he make a formal application?
No.
You just talked to him.
Application's right there.
I don't know who you're talking about, please.
The gentleman that came in this
Exemption.
morning, her first appointment this morning,
She didn't deny it on the back, she didn't do anything.
she didn't.
Nope.
He is going to file an abatement.
For a deferral? No? No, I mean, she told me a little bit, but
So do we wait for that application to?
Why don't we wait and talk with them and then
Yeah.
figure out what he wants the board to do?
Well, he needs to apply for something.
Yep.
Deferral,
Yes.
something.
Well, she recommended the deferral, and he does not want to do that. He does not qualify for this.
right,
What is that one?
but
This is the elderly exemption.
Exemption.
Oh, this is the elderly.
he has to wait.
Well,
He has
yeah,
to
he
wait.
has to,
He has to
Based
wait.
on the law.
yeah,
Yeah,
and he doesn't want to defer them.
right.
It's kind of other options, isn't he?
Well, I guess we could send him a letter and just say, we understand you don't want to apply for deferrals, and that it'll be a while yet before you qualify for the elderly, you know.
I just don't want to lose track of this because it's all
You can
confidential.
take it all the way there.
You know, I can't think of anything else to say.
In lieu of an actual request for something, we have nothing to do,
Right,
We have nothing to...
I would think.
right. Not unless he decides to go for a deferral, or if he's
Or an
going to wait
abatement.
and come back next spring and file for an elderly again. I don't know
Right.
what else to tell you.
Nothing we can do.
No. So we'd really have to, you know, if he's got something else in mind, I think he's just going to have,
Joseph,
Hey, Corporal Ashburn.
Yes.
Come on up.
Corporal Ashburn. Been a selectman for years, we've never met.
And welcome back, Sonny. Welcome back.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good, thanks.
It's fine.
Call every meeting, and we
Nice
got a
to see
better
you
memory
back in
than you.
uniform.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Very good seeing you again.
I'm not hugging
Hey,
him,
I
I just
wanna-
met him.
I'm not gonna
No
hug
hug. I'm a huggy guy, but I don't really know
I'm
him.
not gonna hug either one of those two at the end.
Just as well.
You were just here. It was like you were
Yeah.
just, it's like you haven't been gone.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't seem that way for you.
We held
How are you?
our breath while you were gone.
Yes.
Your name came up a lot.
Yep.
Who is this guy?
good
Who is this guy I kept saying?
I'm like, whoa, hold on.
So it's nice to meet you.
All right, you want to take a break now so we can do the
No,
thing?
because we're kind of disintegrating.
Yes, we are.
Very quickly.
3, I think.
We're going to take a short recess and enjoy Gus's little retirement spread. All right?
So we stand in recess, is that correct?
We stand in recess.
And, okay, recess is over.
Okay.
As part of the warrant, I had put in there that the criminal record check amendment would be printed in the annual report, and I took that out of the warrant, because when I went back and read my notes, it's pretty complicated on how it's supposed to read. So with your permission, I did email some other town administrators and town managers to see if they had implemented this, and no one has gotten back to me. But the letter from the Department of Justice says,
Thank you, John.
town council review it. So with your permission, I would like Dan Crean to write the necessary blurb. The actual amendment. I wasn't going to...
I thought you did.
I looked. I remember him saying that we had a phone conversation with him, and he said that until we adopt that provision that allows us to do criminal records checks, we couldn't do it.
Right, I remember that conversation.
So, but he never actually sent us anything. And this is what we had received from the Department of Justice, because the criminal record check, in order to get the FBI,
Yeah.
they have a certain requirement.
Okay.
So I think it will be
We're paying
simple.
court?
And I was going to add the change under N, after N in our hawkers and peddlers, where it talks about the licensing standards. Of course, I didn't bring my hawkers ordinance with me, but I felt that would be an appropriate place to insert that we would be, to allow the selectmen to require
Yeah.
criminal records check.
This July 17th letter, did that just
Franklin
generically
District
go out
Court.
to administrators?
Yes.
Because it
What?
says that attached.
Right, if you keep looking, their sample ordinance, I just gave mine away.
Here.
One, two, three, it would be the second to last page. So, and I don't see us, I think we can adapt this for our
This whole
purpose.
thing?
Yeah,
That is
that if
not
we
Franklin
wanted to make a
District Court.
criminal records check with fingerprints to the FBI,
That one, I have a question about this.
and since also the state, let's see, the State of New Hampshire Department of Safety, they're Jeffrey Kellett. He said we can contact him if we have any other questions. It says to bring New Hampshire into full compliance to submit future hawker and peddler criminal history record check inquiry requests through the FBI Criminal History Record Database. Your municipality is required to pass an ordinance which requires background checks on individuals applying for licensure as hawkers, peddlers, or certain vendors. So, I guess my question would be, do we want to do an FBI criminal record check, or do we want to just see if we can just get by with a state of New Hampshire one?
If you're going to do one, shouldn't you do the whole thing?
I mean, typically, we ask them to get everything right from
FBI?
Department of Safety in Concord, and they would basically, for, I think it was, what, $10? So I would just leave that the same.
Okay.
Because I know, like, through the school district, to be a volunteer, you'd have to submit your fingerprints, and the school pays it
That's what I had to do.
to,
School pays it?
yep,
Why did I have to pay it?
I don't know, I didn't pay mine.
I had to pay mine. Huh,
For the school?
yep.
So are you suggesting?
Go talk
Did
to
they still
Adele.
respect you in the morning?
Well, I haven't-
Send this to Dan Crean or something?
Yeah, if you want, I can call this Jeffrey Kellett first, and then, I mean, maybe he has some samples that have been run by him from other communities. Oh, I know.
It's very detailed.
Yeah, but I don't think we need that. We just have to cite the statute. If you read the letter,
Well, except, is this what's required from them for us to be able to do that? Because this is very specific.
right, and he says, once your ordinance is drafted, please submit it to me so that I can forward it to the FBI, AIU for their review and acceptance. Once that is completed, then you may again submit these requests under RSA 103A and 103B. I knew it couldn't be easy. I mean, we still have time with the warrant.
Why don't you call him up and ask him if this is required or if we can
If we can just
shorten it?
shorten it, that in our ordinance, say, in accordance with RSA 31102A and 31102B.
Isn't 31 the finance? Or no, it's 33.
33, yeah. 31102A, I think, is the hawkers and peddlers that allows the selectmen to issue licenses. And I'm sorry, I did not bring my folder.
31's powers and duties.
That selectmen can do that.
So, I've got it here, 102, yeah, 102A is hawkers and peddlers, and B is background checks for certain vendors.
Okay. I think that's what they need. I'll call him. And then, if I can't get an answer, and if he says,
You know what?
contact your municipal attorney.
What he's got here is almost verbatim here. For a state and federal criminal records check, the municipality shall request that such person submit with the release form a complete set of fingerprints taken by a qualified enforcement agency. The mission, yeah. Fingerprints taken, it's almost here. That's where he got it from.
All right.
And then the third option is to obtain a state records check only. The municipality shall submit a state criminal history records release form.
And we have those forms.
31A?
No, 31102B.
Okay,
It's to the Franklin Court. Franklin Court is paying
okay, got it.
All right, I'll,
So, they're being the middle manager on it.
I see, okay. All right, well, that makes sense to me then. Otherwise, it didn't make any sense.
Court case, they get the rent, and they pay it.
That's right. That's what I
oh,
thought.
that's an
I'm still
invoice.
leery about how that could happen,
I've
but
heard it happen, so.
All right, so I brought this to your attention. I took out in our warrant the language about a copy of the complete ordinances in the annual report, because I don't, are we going to print the full hawkers and peddlers with the amendment in our annual report? Or just
Print
the,
it somewhere.
okay.
I would
What if we just have just the ordinance by itself?
reference it and then put it on the computer.
Oh, well, it will,
That's not acceptable as a,
but we could have a handout.
Just a courtesy,
yeah,
isn't it?
that's an,
like we do just the budget itself, we could have the hawker and peddlers just as a handout.
Or just do the amendment. You can just do the amendment, because I'm putting the whole pawnbrokers ordinance in the annual report.
Because that's a new one.
Well, it's already on
Website.
the website as the
See
hawkers
this?
and peddlers.
Yeah.
That's how much per gallon that stuff is.
All right, I'll work on this.
That's
At some
it's
point, we
not
might
that
have to
expensive
have
anywhere right now.
Dan
What's up
look
with
at
that?
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
everybody okay if Joyce has to have Dan look at the amendment for the hawkers
Yes.
and peddlers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please.
okay, an update on House Bill 1246, that's the composition of the,
Can we note that in the records, Catherine?
Yeah.
on the Municipal
Outrageous.
Board of Health. Remember you, Ian
Oh,
Spence?
this is,
Yeah,
I wondered where it was going with
not Ian
that.
Spence, Ian Raymond.
I haven't heard from him.
Yes, and that,
You're going to tell me the right to pass on private property.
that came out of committee, ought to pass, and so it's going on the consent calendar, so the next time the House votes, it should pass. There was only one dissenting vote. From there, it goes to the Senate. So,
So that's why he never called me to speak to it.
I had a request,
Revenue for the town.
you can have
Put them all
that.
together when we're done.
The motion was defeated on cannabis, 3 to 322.
What?
House Bill 1616, making certain changes to therapeutic cannabis, adding diseases which could be helpful to the type of lupus, epilepsy, Parkinson's, dementia with Alzheimer's, came out of the committee as OTB. That motion was defeated, 3 to 322.
And there's 400 members in the House,
You know,
and 24 senators. I guess they,
They weren't in favor of that one, were they?
Holding my breath.
in your FYI, the Tilton Northfield Fire District, they announced that they've hired a new fire chief, Michael Sitar Jr., and he will be starting February 24th. They're inviting the selectmen to the swearing-in ceremony Saturday, February 22nd, from noon to 2.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, and one of the things that Pat had asked both myself and Glenn Smith is if we could put this information on our website. Is that all right if I do that?
I think that's a great idea.
Said I would check with the city.
everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Putting it on the website?
But I think we should take this opportunity to thank Joyce and Joe for being part of that select.
Okey dokey.
February 27th,
Thank you very
22nd.
much, Catherine.
2nd?
Thank you.
You know, that was a very important role
What
for
time?
both
2 to 4?
communities.
Noon to
I
2.
think the process was worked out well.
Did it?
I think it
Two at
did.
the Center Street
Everybody was, this gentleman that was hired was the top choice of absolutely everyone,
Nice.
without an exception. Commissioners, search committee, everybody. And I think that this is going to be a good day for the towns of
So
Northfield
all
and Tilton.
RSVP that you all be attending?
Jokes about the commute.
Oh, yeah, last night, the Budget Committee.
Well, he actually has a house on Paugus Bay, apparently, a camp-type house. But he's fully, I asked him point blank, eyeball
the
to
only one we've
eyeball, you know
received.
you have to
Give me a
move
note
into the
saying-
district. Oh, yes, I'm already looking
Jillian-
for
I'm
places,
sorry.
he says.
Roland.
So,
Roland and Dan Chapman. I told you,
as
Brian.
perfect as we could find.
And Dan has not called me. Roland said he would give us an estimate for the roof. Does anyone else know of anybody we can get another estimate from? So the roof?
One of Kent's sons.
Yeah, Dan. I called
Oh,
him.
that's the Dan?
Yeah. I called him. He hasn't responded.
What about Hoey?
They check all the whole way. They do just about everything.
Yeah, it's a construction company. They construct things. The roof would
They
be...
do.
Silver Lake Construction.
Yeah, they did my chimney.
Rubber roof.
That's the only reason I happen to
Details.
know that
You
they
can take
do
the
all sorts of
details
things.
from that. The .60 gauge, whatever.
And he's a local guy.
Okay.
All right.
Want me to use that as the
They're nice guys.
place of budget estimate?
Right.
Outdoor sign you
No,
did?
I mean, call Bob Hoey.
Oh, call, yeah.
That would be my avenue.
VP if we're going.
Yes. For the fire? Yes.
Okay, I had asked Ernie Fox, the last time he was here fixing our public restroom, to give me an estimate on redoing the PVC waste piping downstairs, because we counted there are 5 bends in about a 5-foot space. I was going to go down and take a picture with my iPad, but I just didn't get a chance. And then he also, I said, give me a price for a new high-efficiency toilet, one of the ones that has that compression pump so that it will flush it. So that's his estimate. If you don't want to replace the toilet right now, I would think it would be in the town's interest to have him straighten out the piping down there. And that is for...
And this one will, in place of the one that we're having troubles with in there, and this will fix the problem?
This and straightening out the...
The pipe?
The pipe.
What's
That's
the issue?
increasing the diameter, right?
The pipe straightening, what,
No, he's just doing the pipe straightening.
He's not going to make it a 4-inch pipe?
Well, it is 4-inch. The pipe that's down there now?
I thought you were talking about,
Oh, yeah, right. He was talking about the one going into the big pipe. That's a
Right.
6-inch pipe, that should be 4-inch.
That's smaller.
I thought there was a question of the diameter of the existing drain pipe from that toilet.
That's what you
That was,
explained to me.
yeah, that's what Rowles had said. I'll check on that. I think it is 4-inch.
I don't remember, I'd have to go stand there and look at it.
Well, I remember when you explained it to me that you said that there wasn't a diameter, they were going to change the diameter of the pipe.
Yes,
So we need to just double check to see if this includes the changing of the diameter
yes,
of the pipe.
I remember. The black cast iron part is 4 inches.
Right.
But then there's, the plastic
Probably
pipe
3 inches.
is 3 inches. So I
Right.
don't know if that
common.
pipe going into, from this side is, but I will check with him, so check diameter.
Well, you wouldn't, if that's 4 inches, you wouldn't extend it 4 inches if it's cast iron, you have to go down size.
Nope. They make an adapter.
Yeah.
4-inch to 4-inch.
Cast iron to plastic?
Yep. They do.
But also, the reason it's like that is because they had a pipe that, they went around the exit sign when we could have moved the exit sign, and then there's another pipe that has been cut off in 2 places,
Seriously.
seriously.
wow.
And the original pipe that went up to the skinny closet, when there used to be a toilet there, that's there, and it looks like there's just like a piece of plywood or something over the top of it.
Maybe get a lot of smell out of that.
What was the problem with the perpetual clog?
Clogging.
Just perpetual clog in those,
Too many bends.
too many heavy paper users.
I think that,
I said roughage, somebody needs roughage.
I think that we should find out for sure on that pipe. And I also think that that should be, once the budget's approved, that should be one of the first things that we fix downstairs.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep,
Everybody on board with that?
I agree. Gets old having to call a plumber every other.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Catherine Wisner had said that you, Catherine Dawson, was wondering what happened to that, the DRA municipal sharing pool of assessing data. Remember, we had Steve Hamilton come, Dave Salzer.
They were going to do the mapping and whatnot,
Yeah.
and were we going to be on board, and it was going to be a great and wonderful thing, and we said, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
we did.
What happened?
Well, I called him because I send our information to him.
Yeah.
Called him, emailed him. So he sent this, it's information about the municipal sharing pool, how it works, but to participate, there's an agreement that has to be signed.
So I never sent it to her.
So,
So they sat around waiting for us to say, well, whatever happened to that?
I give that to you, and then
I remember there wasn't
you-
going to be a fee, right?
Right, and,
Does it say it's going to be a fee there?
No, I haven't been there.
well, I just know, what they give
Just
you
like 'em.
is, because I told him, I said, well, we don't have any GIS software, so how do we use this? And he said, well, we give you software for a viewer. It's like, okay, so we can at least view these maps.
How expensive is GIS software?
I have no idea. Tim would be the one to,
There's the man.
1,500 to 2,000.
Per year?
No,
A one-time license?
there are annual charges. Depends on what we get.
Per computer or whatever?
We should have been geeks.
And then the only other thing I had, so that doesn't need any decision tonight, I'm just giving you the information and we can. I didn't know if you were going to talk about that under selectmen's or in non-public or what.
Well, I sent it to
Suppose-
everyone.
Pardon me?
I sent it to everyone.
did? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's planning board, so anyway, so that's public. So I'm done with the exception of having the board review this amendment to the bond warrant article.
Okay.
And did you, are you going into non-public to talk about that?
Yep, we have another non-public that's a personnel issue.
Okay.
I have,
Any chance your finance director could have 5 minutes?
pressing it tonight. I have a question on $457.94 for reimbursed snow blower for Parks Commission. Could somebody please explain that?
The Parks Commissioner purchased a snow blower to clear off the skating rink.
For 400,
Well, there's a
Nope.
gift card,
To use the balance of the gift card we had, which was
$41.
$841.06. And that's the balance. It was a snowmobile that somebody purchased.
snow blower.
Snow blower. Snowmobile.
It's like, you said
Somebody
snow blower.
purchased, and it was too large for them, and they returned it, so we were able to get it at a bit of a discount.
Really?
How big is it?
Where did this card come from?
It was gifted to us from the Home Depot when we put up the shed, the storage shed, and this is the balance remaining on it.
I see,
It's been living in Tim's drawer.
I see.
The chief had it for safekeeping, and then I got it from him, and we put it in Tim's drawer.
I remember that one.
They are. That whole pile.
I just question whether or not they need a snow blower for the rink that we haven't used.
Well, apparently they felt they did, but my concern is that I didn't see anything about 3 bids for an item that expensive. And aren't we supposed to be, like, keeping our purchases to the very bare minimum at this time of year? Only stuff we absolutely positively needed?
That's why they used the gift card.
So, by using the gift, it doesn't make sense to me, but we just told Tim, which I thought was much more important, to get the dispatch calls, get the calls off of the dispatch person and onto the people that need to be on with the auto attendant. We told them not to spend the money till after town meeting, and yet we're just signed a thing to say it would be okay for
We were going to
the...
use the gift card in the capital reserve fund because it's for recreation. But when they went back there after they'd gotten their prices from, actually, I think they had prices from 4 different locations.
Oh, they did get prices, good. Good.
They were able to buy this one, but it had to be purchased, otherwise we would have lost it.
How big a machine is it? It's gotta be huge.
It's pretty good size. This one is
$1,200.
a little smaller
$1,300.
than the one that they were going to purchase. I think it's a 14-inch auger. We've been shoveling off, or not, don't include me and the we, they've been shoveling off that skating rink by hand, and it takes them about 2 hours.
All right.
And it's also, we'll be able to snow blow paths into it.
In future years, I would think.
Is there parking up there now? Do they-
Yes, the public
Oh, yeah,
works
it's all
has been
plowed
very
out.
good about keeping it
Keeping the
clear and
parks.
sanded.
Have we actually skated on it?
People have skated on it, yes.
I walked around on it the other night. I actually encountered Commissioner Fogg out there shoveling. I didn't notice any skate marks on it, but I didn't see the entire thing, and he told me that some people had indeed skated on it. I don't think it's getting used as much as I'd hoped it would. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is, and they work at keeping it clean, and even though it was rough, I'm here to tell you, I learned to skate on a beaver pond, and this thing is much nicer than a beaver pond. It's not, glassy, but it's skatable.
Maybe people just don't know that it's ready and it's
I
up.
think so. You could skate on that, I mean, maybe not tonight because of the snow, but you could skate on it.
And they have to,
So please, come on down and skate on
what they
it.
do is after they get it snowed, they put another batch of water on it to
Another level.
smooth it out.
Now, will they keep the snow blower in, is there room enough in the shed?
Yeah, there's plenty of room in the shed for the snow blower.
And there was a question, I had a question in my mind about how that pump was going to run if it was in an unheated building, and found out that there is a ceramic heater in the building, so the pump freezing is not an issue. But apparently some of the outside spigots are frozen up or something. I don't know exactly which ones or whatever, but they can pump water.
Yeah, the heater is on to keep the water from freezing in the gauges and whatnot. It's not, we don't leave the pump on. When they're done
Oh, no, I
flooding it, it's shut off and it
Oh, yeah.
drains back down.
if you don't keep the heater on, even though the pump is off, any water in the pipes would freeze and...
No, because that drains out. It's the
Does it
gauge-
drain?
It's the gauges that collect the water.
Ah.
The part that I could replace another part. I replaced that pressure release valve, and that was because
Froze
where
up.
it's located on the pipe, it's down.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. I saw that it should have been upright.
Are we going to try and...
Okay, we have a bond, public hearing, and we have alternative wording. Has everyone kind of read the amended?
Yep.
We probably need a motion to accept it, and then we can read into the, for the public, the amended.
We should have it sent off to the budget committee as soon as we...
Make a
Okay.
motion, yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept the new wording for the bond article. Which article number is it?
2.
2.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I will, opposed?
Aye.
Okay. I will read the, I'll read the entire article, and then when we added when it comes to the part where we added, I will let people know. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,775,000 to participate in the State of New Hampshire Department of Transportation municipally managed state highway aid program to reconstruct the following state roads in the town of Tilton: Califf Hill Road, Clark Road, Colby Road, and Winter Street, and to authorize the issuance of not more than $2,775,000 of bonds or notes in accordance with the Municipal Finance Act, RSA 33, and authorize the Board of Selectmen to issue and negotiate such bonds or notes and to determine the rate of interest thereon, and this is where we added, and to authorize the Board of Selectmen to apply for, accept, and expend any state or other aid that may become available for said project, provided, however, that the Board of Selectmen shall not be authorized to issue any bonds or notes unless and until the town has received a binding commitment for state aid for said project in an amount at least equal to 2/3 of the total cost of the project. This appropriation is not included in the operating budget The Selectmen and the Budget Committee recommend this appropriation. So, Scott, you're here late. The blue part is the part that we've amended it to, which kind of spells it out a little bit more in detail, that says town, we're not eligible to do this until we have a binding contract from the, binding commitment from the state, for the state aid program. Do you have one, Jane?
What one?
Yeah, she can have this. Oh, you got it? So I will open this up to the public for their thoughts and comments. Yep.
What happens if the price of the project comes in at $4.5 million?
We'd have to come back to the legislative body.
Yeah.
And what if they decide not to go forward with it, then does the bond, would the bond just be have to be rescinded, or what would be the, I mean, if the price was so the taxpayers felt it was not.
The only monies that would be spent, if we go forward with this and it's approved, and the state says, you're on the queue, we're going to do this, then the next step for us is to do the engineering. That would come out of these monies. If, after we do the engineering, we find out it's a much more expensive project, or the state doesn't want to do as much to the road as we need to do to get it up to snuff, whatever. We'd have to come back to the legislative body. The monies that would have been spent are the engineering monies.
And is that split 2/3, 1/3 also?
Yes.
Engineering funds?
Yes.
So, it comes out of the money, but when we go out and bid the engineers, when we go to pay for it, does the state reimburse the town the 2/3 on the engineering upfront?
The state doesn't typically reimburse until the end of the project.
And even then, sometimes they don't reimburse.
No, they reimburse
They
us for
reimburse.
Silver Lake Road.
Yeah, they,
You have to remember, it's different departments and different funding. New Hampshire DOT will not do one of these projects if they don't have the money.
That's correct. They have to commit their money.
I understand that, but what are we talking for engineering fees? 10% of the project? 20% of the project? What would be the engineering fees?
Usually it's 10 to 15% of the total project cost.
Yeah, so we're looking at probably $300,000, $400,000 in just engineering costs on a $2.7 million contract, if you're looking at 15%. Right? So, and then if we decide that, and then they say no, the town's gonna be on the hook for the $300,000 or $400,000 in engineering fees by themselves, is that correct?
Well,
Makes sense.
they're supposed to reimburse us for the engineering fees.
You said it didn't get reimbursed at the end, though. If we decided not to go forward.
That's the variable I don't know the answer to, but the other part of this is we're not going to go forward with anything until we have a firm deal from New Hampshire DOT.
But you're not gonna have a firm deal till after you have the engineering plan, so is that correct?
We won't have firm dollars, but we're playing, let's make a deal right now as far as, who keeps roads, who doesn't.
what roads, right?
What roads we're going to do now. Can we do all the roads and phase them out?
Do we do,
Do we do 2/3, 1/3, or do we do 20/80?
right?
And I
And
think that's the.
that's a good question, that's a question, Joyce, if you'll note that question, that's a question that we need to ask them.
Because the fear I have is getting in bed with them and getting stuck with the project. That's the fear I have as a taxpayer. I mean, we have enough on our plate now, the taxpayers do. And I know the roads are bad, I know we have a lot of bad roads that we need to be fixed as far as the state roads around us, such as School Street, the same thing. And it just bothers me that, you listen to the state legislators down in Concord, and they can't even, they can't fund a toothpick, it seems. Listen to them down there. I mean, they're arguing about $2,000, and here we're looking at, 2/3 of almost $3 million, so you're looking at about $1.8 million that you're asking the state to come up with, and my fear is that, what if they don't come up with it, or what if the cost goes astronomical. We go to $5 million for this project, and it's not, and they put us off till not 2016, but 2020.
I think it's a valid question, and I think we can get that answer before town meeting.
Yeah, I think we need to have that in. I think that's what you hash out here, and I think that needs to be answered for. If you go to town meeting with a lot of unknown variables, I mean,
Right.
I can't vote for it because it's just, you know, you wouldn't buy a car that way. It'd be like you go into the car, buy a car, and the guy says, oh yeah, the car runs fine, but I'd only take it for a ride, and this is this, and, you know, it's only go around the back, it's fine out back, but it doesn't have the tires on the rear.
That will only happen to you once.
And unfortunately, you know, as I mentioned last night, we're still, it's not DOT, but we're still being paid back for the landfill,
Right.
and we're still being paid back for the sewer project, that funding that holds, and that's the fear. When you have bad taste in your mouth, because it happened before with the state, you're cautious.
And you're right, the DES grant for the sewer was not something that DES themselves did. That came from the legislature.
Exactly, Catherine, and that's my point. If you get a
It's a valid point.
certain down there in 2 years, and you think you're on the road for a road project, in 2 years, they just make legislation, they change legislation, the whole house changes, and you get a group in there that says, no, we're not going to spend any of the money, you're on your own with all your road projects.
They could do that.
You're sitting out there in the wind.
After our conversation with the director and the people down there in Concord, I have no sense that they made all sorts of statements, and they were kind of like, sorry about your bad luck. You either come up with millions of dollars worth of funding, or you don't even get on our list. You're not even on our radar. Mr. Clement, his name is Clement, right? The director, the head of the DOT. I certainly hope, for Mr. Clement's sake, nobody's injured on one of those roads due to the poor maintenance record that the state has. They deferred maintenance so long, now the road is going to be at least $3 million to fix it. That's why I vote no on this.
Well, even if you look at how they've structured the two-thirds, one-third program, they're passing a lot of things down to the town that they didn't before.
Other things too, Catherine, I mean, all across the board, that's what I said, you know. Back when we chased them for the money for the landfill, the state was in fairly good financial standing.
Right.
Much better than they are now, this day and age. And that's my fear, is that you get a legislative body down there, thinks they're gonna balance the budget on the towns, what they've done in the past, just pass the buck down to the towns, the county does it, they pass the buck down to us. And we're at the bottom of the hill, and we're getting everything.
The problem
There's nobody left to pass it down to.
No, it's to the taxpayer, it comes down to the poor taxpayer in town, that's where the money comes from, and it's unfortunate.
The problem is we don't have an alternative way of repairing the state's roads.
I know that, and we're caught between that catch-22.
Yes.
They won't do anything unless we come up with money.
Also get the townspeople in a deal that we get shafted for, say, just the engineering fees, $400,000 or $500,000. That, you know, that's sad too when you lose that. So, you know, do you invest that money hoping for a prayer, or do you try to have something solid? I don't, it seems like there's an awful lot of variables that are floating, that aren't secure or solid.
You'd have to be solid to get a vote.
Oh, you're not gonna get a two-thirds vote if it's floating down. You're definitely right on that. I mean, you know how hard it is to get the two-thirds, that's a high hurdle.
It is a good place to start a conversation, though.
Yeah, we'll start the conversation, and you feel for the people that live on that area, because that Caleb Hill Road is horrendous.
Oh,
It is.
No question.
This is one of those times.
Clark Road is really bad. Colby Road,
Colby Road, I mean, where Sandy,
Yeah.
just after Sandy.
Winter Street.
God, you gotta put your seatbelt on and pull it tight, just to, you feel like you're on an airplane going through turbulences,
Yep.
and you're not going that fast down through there.
No, not at
You
all.
can't.
No.
Not if you want a car.
And it's hard on the vehicles, I mean, the poor people that live up there, it's hard on their vehicles back and forth.
Well, this is New Hampshire, okay? I grew up in New Hampshire, and the roads stink a lot of times. The only thing for me is that, especially with Caleb Hill Road, that's a school bus run. And I think it's a public safety issue. I think it's a children's safety issue.
Well, the bus,
Pure and simple.
the bus is on Colby, too. And look at how bad that was. They did shim coat it.
They shimmed it.
which took care of a few moguls, but they're coming back.
And this spring, it'll be just as bad.
But you look at all those roads, and really the problem is they've never done proper drainage. They've never done ditching. You never see the state doing any ditching.
They've deferred the maintenance on those roads for years.
Culverts falls in, they just fill the hole in, and they don't...
They've done it to us for years and years and years, but if we just sit back and say, you know, and wait and do nothing, it gets worse, and it's going to cost us a whole lot more down the road than it is right now.
In all fairness, Pat, I think when we get
I feel like I'm over a barrel.
they start looking
You know what's coming next. Either we do something about it now, or it'll cost us more down the road.
Drainage.
It costs us this much now because they weren't doing their part.
Change the soil base is going to be huge dollars, but also, you get up on, by Ted Perrin's place.
Yeah.
It's all ledge there.
Right.
You're gonna, you could spend...
That's what's coming up out of the road.
Just blasted on that corner.
That's what they're going to do in 2014.
I mean, that's going to be, you know, you got to go and all those homes around there, you got to go and take pictures of the foundation before you blast. It's big money.
Clark Road is the same way, it's mostly ledge.
Yeah, you can let it just go, so I
Yep.
mean, and I probably on Colby too, when they
Yep.
get digging around there, they're going to run into ledge.
Yep.
And, you know, we all know, when you start blasting ledge, every hole will cost you a pile of money.
Yep.
The money goes right out, it's like a hole in the bottom of a water bucket, you can't keep water in it.
I should say that the men and women that work for the Department of Transportation do a fine job with what they're given to work with. I think that this is a function of the legislature and funding. And any of my statements about DOT is not meant to disparage the people that actually are out there doing the work, because they do what they can do with what they're given. And my problem is with the people that are doing the giving.
Yeah.
Well, I think a perfect example is when they got stimulus money, the state, they went right down and did 101.
Yep.
I mean, that tells everything.
Yep.
They had to get down there and they're paving Route 101.
They didn't need to be paved.
No,
No, and it hadn't been paved that long ago, but they're down there paving it, and,
it was shovel-ready, buddy.
yeah, and I hear that, Joe, but it's just, you
The
know,
key being the shovel.
priority. Money for the state.
Well, the same thing with 132, coming out of Concord. That road was not bad at all.
Well,
Now
they
it's
do their
brand new.
numbered routes. They just did the ditching on 132.
Yeah.
What, about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago?
Yeah, about 4.
They did the ditching on 132 and replaced some culverts, but,
And they put paving up there, too.
Yeah.
yeah, but once you leave the numbered routes in the Class 2 state aid roads,
That's right.
they abandoned them years ago.
And I quote, "to keep the good roads good." The other roads, you're on your own.
Unless you're in southern New Hampshire, and then they pay
Right.
some money.
Well,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the only other thing with these roads too, that you keep in mind, that's thought, is that it's our poor highway crew that has to try to plow them.
Yep.
I can't
Yeah.
some of those humps trying to plow up through there.
Well, they can't. They have to raise their plows up. They raise the plows and then people call and say, they're not doing a good job of plowing. Yep.
Catherine.
Give some information. One of the things, I have to commend the
Our DOT dollars at work.
on at least 2 occasions, we've had a room full of people coming in complaining, what are you going to do about our roads? The selectmen responded, they got in touch with our state legislators, our state representatives, they called the commissioner, they got them out here, they rode all the roads, that was in March of last year. Correspondence went back and forth, we stayed on it. We had a meeting with the commissioner, all his department heads, the Division 3, the selectmen, and, I mean, this is the only game in town, this is all they have to do this, with the town's participation, because otherwise it's not going to happen. And that's because their hands are tied by the legislature. But they're willing to make a commitment to the town, if the town says, yeah, we want to participate. So we have their attention. I don't feel that they're going to, I think that we can work something out here to respond to all the people that have been coming to the board asking. The way the project works is, I just wanted to explain the reimbursement part, how the money flows, is once we agree on, yes, here we have our money, we're ready to participate, then they'll decide on, okay, we're going to do Caleb Hill Road, we're going to do this is the percentage, are you going to take it over, yes, no, whatever, they'll work that out, and then they will have an estimate. So we'll have an estimate at that time that we'll know. Okay?
Prior to engineering?
Prior to engineering. They will give us that estimate, because that's what determines how much money they have to allocate and lock in for Tilton for that project, what you decide.
If you get picked.
And we'll have a year. We'll know, pardon me?
If you get picked.
If we get picked. But we've got a very good chance of being picked.
Because of the Veterans Home.
No, the
No, because
publicity
we
and,
put pressure on them, and
Yeah.
they know it's bad. So, but anyway, so the first thing, so, okay, the project, let's say it's going to be Caleb Hill Road. The first thing we do is that the selectmen have to go through a request for qualification. They hire the engineering firm. DOT reviews who we hire, and they say, yeah, okay. At that point, so we get the design, and then DOT will reimburse the municipality 2/3 of the design costs incurred that are deemed appropriate and within an acceptable range for the type and magnitude of the design project and are justifiable. Reimbursement will occur after approval of the finalized plans and specifications. Okay, so they'll give us the 2/3 reimbursement at that point. Then, upon approval of the award to the low bidder, New Hampshire DOT will reimburse the municipality 1/2 of the state's 2/3 share of the contract award. Then upon final completion of the work and they inspect it for conformity with the approved plans and specification, then the DOT will reimburse the balance of the state share of the costs. So we're not going to be waiting, for them to reimburse us, because it will be throughout the life of that particular project. And in talking with other communities that have participated in the state highway program, it's a good quick turnaround. And you can call any town that has participated in this program, and they will so there is a good quick turnaround.
Who has participated for?
Samerton.
Pardon me?
Samerton just did.
All the state roads in Northfield have been done through this project, as the bridges.
And that's with the 2/3, 1/3?
That's the 2/3, 1/3. So the question, and you're right, we don't know what the cost will be. We're basing our estimates on completely redoing, these were Dennis's estimates, in his CIP plan, which he's done for all the roads in town, not just the state roads, and his sidewalks. He's come up with what it would cost and planned on what years this would be done. His estimates, and we tacked on 10% for engineering costs, as if we were going to completely do all 4 roads. And that's where we came up with the 2.765 million.
But you
Which is-
didn't take into account 2016 or 17 into those numbers probably, huh? You just took a 10% on for engineering and you didn't put in an adjustment for inflation?
No, we did not.
That's my fear, is that adjustment for inflation, if oil goes through the roof, you know what happens with pavement. It takes off like crazy.
Asphalt goes the same way.
To get these
Project like this,
going now in the queue.
We just see a huge dollar increase.
At some point in time, we have to get in the queue, because it's a 2-3 year down the road project to start, to even begin.
It stinks that we have to bribe the state to fix the state roads.
I think that's the wrong term, but
I don't think if we wait for the state, that we'll get what we've got in the last 50 years.
Well, I know, they don't have the money. They don't have the money, and the legislature is nitpicking over a 4-cent gas tax.
yep,
Bridges are falling down, but unless it's their bridge, they won't vote for it.
And that's my problem, is the fact that if you, every 2 years, we have a change in the legislation down there. And you can flip-flop from one side to the other. You think you have a group that's ready to work and fix the road, and then 2 years later, that group's voted out, you got a whole new group down there.
Right.
And you're dealing with them, and if they change legislation, that's how they hang to you. I mean, we've seen it happen
yep.
Or they rob the money,
down there, and you have no sense.
use it for something else.
Well, just a couple other comments. One of the other advantages, if you want to look at it this way, of doing the roads, number one, the roads will get repaired, because they're not going to get repaired any other way. once they are repaired, you know that they're going to be properly maintained because the town would properly maintain them, because the state isn't going to do that. Secondly, you gain control of that road. You own those right-of-ways, you can have charge of the curb cuts, you can tell people, no, you can't put your driveway there, no, you're screwing up the drainage here, it's no more, call the state and nothing happens. And then the other thing is that we would get some highway block grant money, because we'd be adding that mileage to our road miles.
But do we have to take the road away?
Well, that's going to be,
We've been negotiating.
that's going to be,
Sometimes what looks like a gift, sometimes doesn't become a gift.
Right.
right.
You see these people win these fishing derbies, they win a big boat, and then they find out what they have to pay on taxes on a big boat.
Right.
Well, they did Silver Lake Road,
Paying this.
and they didn't make us take it.
Well, that was a,
So they didn't make us take it. I
it
know
took
there were
6 months
things.
to get to that point. But the interesting thing here is they've changed this program so that now, in order for you to be in the queue and stay up in the queue, you have to state that, yeah, we're willing to take the roads over.
Yep.
Oh,
And that wasn't there before.
okay, so you have.
That wasn't a condition.
You don't have an option not to take.
No.
Well, our argument is, and this is what
Right.
we've been negotiating with them, and we have a real good argument, and, justifiable argument, is because 2 of the roads are leading to a state facility.
Right.
With a lot of trucks and Winter and
Clark.
Clark.
And
Colby is too, but it's coming from a different area.
You could argue Calefeld, because
could.
it's coming down from Samerton.
Colby has the service entrance coming off it.
Right.
Where all the service trucks.
Yep.
So they said that they would consider a discussion on that. And that's what we're going down March 7th, and I think that's one of the things on the agenda.
Right. Plus the fact with all the work they've done up there, all those big trucks they've been running up and down those roads haven't helped any of the roads at all.
So we said we would not be, right out flat, we would not be acceptable to taking Clark and Winter for those reasons.
Yep.
And they didn't balk at that. So,
Well, he threw out the 2080, so that would be,
right.
If we took them over. It would be a 2080, not a 6633, 1/3, 2/3.
It still can be 2080, but we're not going to take them over, period.
And
the
that would
cards
be better,
are
but
out on the table, face up, but we haven't
Right,
finished the game.
right.
Right.
I just don't trust them. But the people that live in that area should have the opportunity to discuss what the options are and know that they've been heard, and the people in Concord know what they're saying. And they deserve that, no matter what.
Well, I think when we go to town, no question, when the town meets for the town meeting, you're gonna have all the facts you can possibly have at the table.
Right.
Tonight, we have a lot of there's a lot of things unknown, such as, are we gonna have to take them over? What's the actual percentage? Are they only gonna make us take 2 over or 1 over? Or we don't know. I mean,
That's a good start.
yeah, you gotta start somewhere. I mean, you're gonna have a discussion, there's no question about that.
Sure.
It's just, I think if you go there without facts, you ain't got the first chance.
Right.
You know that. And is the state gonna be better in 3 years? I don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball.
Well, what's happening is the longer we wait, I mean, we're already going to be out to 2016, and it's probably going to be 17 or 18, and they're not doing anything to maintain the road. The school buses use it. It's going to become impassable for the
Is that
school
gonna get
buses.
worse, Catherine?
Pardon?
The point with that, is that gonna get worse if we get in a deal with them and they know that we're gonna be redoing the road for the future? I mean, is it gonna get to the point where they say, well, in 2017, we're gonna be doing Caleb and Clark and Colby and Winter, so we're not even gonna do our regular maintenance that we do on a regular basis.
They don't do
They
anything.
don't do any regular maintenance.
We did something on Caleb because they put some colors up, there was some colors laying up there last year.
Right.
Because that's because we
We had the legislative team
We had
That's
senators
wrong.
and
Strong arm
DOT guys and representatives.
That's all they were willing to do.
Yeah.
2 culverts.
2 culverts, and then next year, this summer, 2014, they're gonna take out that big hump so that the school bus doesn't have to cross over on another part of the road with children in it.
Under that big hump, so the big hump will be up
They have to,
there anyway.
they probably would have to blast that, they said.
The irony of the repairs that they made in the culverts was that they put up signs that said bump. However, having traveled that road quite often, that was the smoothest part of the road, where they had the signs that said bump.
Bring
Well,
that
they got the
picture,
rest of the way.
bring that picture to town meeting.
I will, yeah, have to do that.
Any more discussion? And then we'll close the public hearing on the bond Article 2. Thank you. Wonderful, we're almost there. And how many feet do we have out there yet? Without a snow?
Can't be more than 6 or 7 inches.
All right.
Is it
Okay,
bad
we're
out
still
there?
going.
Oh, wait, Tim wanted,
Tim wants to come up. I wasn't forgetting about him. It's just,
Scott, thank you for coming.
Oh, yeah. And I see all the people from here, they're feeling inclined to hold me here, too.
Well,
Well, this was kind of last second.
Same one's always here, though.
Hey, this was kind of last second, so probably and between that and the weather, it's not that they don't care, because I've seen, the most people I've seen in that audience was over this very issue,
yep.
and they weren't happy. And I don't blame them.
Well, I have 2 things. The first thing is, the town clerk tax collector is expanding, or wanting to expand, how she does registrations, so that we'll be able to take care of motor vehicle registrations online with a credit card and/or pay for it out of your checking account, much like you can right now with taxes. So in order to do that, plus also dogs, so you'll be able to basically have everything that you can come in and do at the counter, with the exception of a few exceptions, you'll be able to renew, pay for through the internet. And in order to do that, we already have an agreement with a company called Invoice Cloud, which is the third-party processor for all these payments. We pay no fees, we incur no charges, it's all passed through to the consumer, and it's all handled through the clerk software and tax software, or it has been through the tax software, and this is
If
the
we
part
do
that
that,
would
why
work
would
through
we
the
need a
clerk
deputy?
software. Because we're still going to need,
Hi, Scott.
this isn't a substitute, it's more of a convenience for people that really have a hard time getting into town hall.
If it's a convenience for people not to come into town hall, then if everybody does it, then what would happen?
Well, I can tell you that from our tax collection standpoint, we probably do maybe about 25% of our taxes are paid electronically. So if that gives you an indication, maybe it'll be about the same experience. I don't know. The thing is, it is a convenience for citizens, and it doesn't cost the town anything. It's just an expansion of what we have now.
As long as the residents are aware that it costs them extra money.
Oh, they are. They are. It's very clearly marked when they go through it. They have to agree to I
How
forget.
much is the fee?
It
you know,
varies.
percentage?
It's a percentage on the credit card, and on the checking account, I think it's a $1.95. I think that's what it is, or a dollar something.
That's it?
That's it, yeah. Yeah.
Cost you less and more in gas to get down here.
Well, it's more on your credit card, though.
It is more, right. Yeah, depending upon,
If you use it-
depending upon if you're
checking
paying
account.
taxes, if you're doing taxes or...
Checking account or anything like that.
Right.
So, in any event, we already, as I said, we already have an agreement with Invoice Cloud, and then Invoice Cloud uses Chase as for financial transactions, and we already have an agreement with Chase. So all those agreements are in place, but what we need to do is to be able to implement the clerk portion for these additional things. We've got to have an add-on to the agreement, which is an addendum, and I have one here. It's to add on this one piece. There's actually another form, which I don't happen to have with me. It's more of a informational form as to, which account it's going into and that sort of thing, which is all the same as what we have now, which I think just needs an initial, but this one needs a signature.
Is there a downside to this?
I really can't see it. More and more towns are doing this as a convenience for people. People are used to paying their, many bills online, and it gives them the ability to pay their town bills online.
So how does it work? This is motor vehicle registration. So you go online, you pay it.
Well, you'd receive
How do you get your registration?
you'd receive your letter from Cindy, and the letter would have
What do we normally get, so that's not an extra.
That's not extra. And then in there, it would give the instructions what to enter in to be able to initiate your registration. And then once you've paid for it, it'll kick out on her system, these people paid for their registrations, and then she sends the registrations to the people.
There's the extra cost.
I would
50
say
cents for whatever for the
48
letter.
cents is what we're
Plus
paying.
an envelope.
It's
Plus the envelope.
still an extra cost.
It is an extra cost.
You're looking at what, 50 cents?
Do we have to make a decision, or are you looking for us to make a decision tonight? And
well, I was-
give it to us 5 minutes, and then you want us to make a decision?
Well, clearly, that was ill-conceived on my part, but yes, because it just made sense.
I'm not
But
comfortable doing that.
that's fine, that's fine. In fact, I'll be more than
When
happy
do
to...
you have to know? Is there a deadline? or
No,
is
there isn't. She was hoping to have this in place by town meeting so that she could just, roll it out at town meeting and let people know. But maybe a better thing to do would be to have her come and talk to you about it, and she can maybe answer some more questions about, how that might work technically. But at least I gave you,
I wanna-
at least I gave you a preview of it. And then the second item I have, so I take it you're not willing,
How
okay,
does
never
it-
mind.
No, go
No,
ahead,
let-
bring it.
What's the board feel about that?
I think it's a good thing for our customers.
I think it's a convenience for the residents, and as long as they know upfront that it'll cost them extra to do it this way, even if it's only $1.95, so be it. I'm all about the convenience to the
$1.95 to
residents.
them, but it's 50 cents for us because we're going to be mailing it out.
Well, it's a little-
Can we raise our fee by 50
It's
cents?
less than, no.
We can't. Why can't we?
Because it's motor vehicles.
Yeah, it's regulated by the state.
I see, so we can only tack on so much. So how many 50 cents are we talking about here?
Well, if only 25%.
25%.
Jim, did you want to talk about this? or-
Yeah.
150 cents is,
Okay.
Get them into the envelope. Then, of course, we get real nitty-gritty and talk about the time it's going to take to put it in the envelope, and then it's going to be put in the mail.
well, if they come in here, it takes time,
Yeah.
all right? That you
Think you're
won't
losing
have to
now.
spend, and that might be where the savings is. If the deputy or the town clerk don't have to interact with these people, they can be doing other things and be more productive. Perhaps.
There you go.
Well,
I think it's just a convenience for the people. Some people will use it, and there's a lot of people that won't.
Not me, because I like the town clerk. I like to come and talk to the deputy.
People registering their cars online, these are going to be new these are going to not, they're not new registrations.
renewals.
The renewals.
Just renewals.
Only
And
renewal.
I can tell you from my own vantage point, I much prefer to have it in hand. I mean, I've had mail lost, and I don't want to, personally, I wouldn't do it, but I can see the convenience for other people.
Well, we're the same way. She mails us the letter, and I just bring it in and take
Right.
care of
Me
it.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
so-
can see people who've gone to Florida for the winter. who-
There could be lots of justifications, and I don't think the 50 cents per customer that do it's going to be that big a thing.
No, I
I
don't
think it's a
either.
good idea.
Oh,
I'll make a motion that we should allow
I'll
it.
second your motion.
All right.
that's wonderful. All right.
A motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I think we beat that one up.
I think we beat that one to death.
All those in favor of the motion?
Me.
Aye.
All
No,
those opposed?
no.
I'm in favor.
I'm abstaining.
So it's 3-1 to abstain. All right.
No, one said no.
And one, 3-1 and an abstention, right?
Right,
Okay, so the motion carries.
right.
Okay. I'm not
Okay.
taking over your job, Pat, I'm just for my own clarification.
So that just needs to be signed by the chair.
The chair, right,
How-
that just abstained. Okay.
The second thing is,
Motion to allow the chair
I make a
to-
motion to allow the chair to sign the proposal for
it's the paperwork.
the paperwork.
Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Selectman Justman votes yes,
No.
and Al voted no.
That's where the ducks are. Okay. Okay, the second thing I had was, I spoke to you a little while ago, and I'm going to keep this extremely brief, but I talked to you about the auto attendant at the police department, and there was a certain amount of money involved, and it was over the $500 mark, and it wasn't a perfect situation at the time, but I've since gone back to them and refigured some things, and I've got them to do it on a time and materials basis, and not to exceed $500. And I can split that up to where one portion of it is for the auto attendant and one portion of it is for the voicemails. Currently, we don't have voicemail for all the officers, which is, I believe, a serious problem, because information is really key for the officers, and,
They don't have voicemail.
not all of them, not all of them.
It's
So,
amazing to me.
well,
If they're on a call, and they're doing investigation, and they have witnesses, and they're calling in, and so on and so forth, people call in with answers.
Yeah, I know what voicemail is.
I
My
know,
my
you know
concern
what
is
it is.
they don't have it. That seems like terrible to me.
well, I didn't want to belabor this, but because I was able to get it under $500,
Seems stupid, Ken.
and
Don't need to ask
and
us.
it can, I felt it was necessary because it had been
You're not a
discussed,
police
and people had expressed their opinions about whether to do it or not to do it. I didn't want to go ahead and proceed now that it met the threshold to do a portion of it without bringing that to the board's attention, just for proper disclosure purposes.
I say yes.
So,
I say yes.
Oh, it's a big yes.
That's for,
Auto attendant.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
would
but
mean
that's not the question.
you won't get a busy signal when you call the PD.
they vote no.
So I won't get a person.
Selectman Justman votes yes. Actually, there was nothing to vote on.
No motion.
Somebody has to make a motion to vote, right?
No?
No, it's under $500.
Okay.
He just
Then
wants
you
our
don't need my
opinion.
Well,
permission.
I
He wants
felt,
our opinion.
Oh, okay.
yeah, this was just an FYI, so, anyway, thank you very much.
Sure.
Now that you've stirred the pot a little bit, thank you, appreciate it.
What I do, he says.
Taking back my vote.
Outstanding.
Okay.
So aren't we supposed to have a,
5 minutes.
aren't we,
Make a motion to go, is there any more business in the public that comes before us? Yes.
aren't we supposed to have some kind of a public comment tonight with regard to an ordinance? that
Not
was-
tonight.
Oh, is that next week?
Yes. We
Okay.
moved it, we called everybody, we moved it because of the storm. It's next week at 6:30.
Didn't call everybody. I didn't know about this.
You're poll taxing next
Oh,
week.
because I was coming. I get it. Okay. Okay.
All right.
I'm always the last one to know.
Sometimes
I'm
you're
the
damned if
last
you do
one
and
to
damned
know.
if you don't. You know that feeling.
Uh-huh. Let's not even start.
Man.
There you go. Okay, so,
Make a motion, we go into non-public as per RSA 91:A pertaining to personnel and matters which discussed in public would adversely affect the reputation of.
Second.
second. Sorry, Sandy.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Time for the deferral.
Make a motion that we seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to personnel permanently, as they pertain to the other matter until the matter is resolved.
Second.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion, we adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Let